Hi everybody and welcome to our biology course. So we are going to take a few minutes to review some of the essentials of the course and also go over some of the logistics and concerns that you may have as you start this fully online class. So let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Dr. Saw Subhanian. Here's a picture of me and my family. So you see my little one. She's about 2 years old now. Her name is Sana. And my husband, Jashin. I am glad to have you guys all here as my students and hope we will have a wonderful semester together. So I want to start with going to describe what is my goal as an instructor for you guys. So I know a lot of you guys are overwhelmed with the setup that we have. A lot of you guys expected to take this class in a more of a face-to-face environment or a hybrid class rather than a fully online class. And I can understand the challenges that may come with that. But please always keep in mind that my goal as your instructor would be to ensure that the most effective learning environment has been created for you. And I'll do my best to support you as you guys start to take this class. However, do keep in mind that when it comes to your instruction and when it comes to you understanding the concepts, it is going to be a two-way street. And therefore, as much as effort as I will be putting into the class, I do expect the same back in terms of effort from you guys, in terms of studying the content, communicating with me, asking questions, etc. I know this is, again, not like a face-to-face class, so we don't get the chance to interact, and that's part of who we are as humans, and I know it's going to be difficult, but we do have a lot of tools that we have access to, and hopefully we can effectively use all those tools to make this class as fun and exciting and as wonderful as it would have been during the face-to-face environment. So I wanted to give you some information about where you can find some of the content for the course. I'm assuming if you're here, you already know how to access your Canvas course. However, I still did put it in. So if you guys go ahead and type in your campus address, which is valleycollege.edu, and then go into the login on the site and click on the Canvas, then you may log into your Canvas page, and your login will be the same thing as your web advisor. So thankfully, everything in terms of our login is now centralized, so you don't have to use multiple logins to get access to your content. In terms of what are the resources that are available in terms of making sure that you are staying up to date in the terms of the classroom and the course content, your best sources are going to be some of the things that I have circled for you here. So when you go to your Canvas homepage for your biology course, you can see that you have access to announcements. Typically, these announcements come up once a week, sometimes more frequently, depending on what needs to be passed on to you guys as students. Your other source would be your actual syllabus. So in this example, I'm using Bio 250 syllabus course for fall of 20. You may click on that, and that would be the same for any biology course you would have. Your syllabus option right here will give you a breakdown of day by day as far as what is your due dates. It does not include the scheduled office hours, which will be held through Zoom. For that, you can also click on your calendar. So calendar and syllabus option will be very similar for you guys, with the difference that calendar also provides you guys with any meetings that you may have for that course, with color coding for various courses if biology is not the only course you are enrolled in. I will strongly suggest for you guys to do participate in the office hours. We do hold office hours typically once a week for each class. about an hour. I will be sending out announcements later on to find the best time for students to meet. Do keep in mind that even though there is a specific office hours for your class, you are welcome to contact me via email and let me know if you would like to have a individualized Zoom or office hours with me, and I can do my best to set that up for you guys based on your schedule and my schedule. Is the participation in your office hours mandatory? And the answer is no. However, I do strongly recommend for you guys to do participate, because we can cover information that might have not been very clear in the PowerPoints. We may go over the exams and assessment. We may review some of the concepts for your exams, etc. So you can choose what we discuss during office hours. The lecture material are all available through your modules, and they are, as you can see right here, they're broken down by week. So we are 18-week semester course. So basically you would have typically 18 of those present within your module. They are also further down breakdown based on your lecture exams. So if you have 4 lecture exams for your course, then you will have 4 of these larger modules broken down to individual weeks. Now, if you do have any problem with your Canvas access, something doesn't present itself, your course is missing from your Canvas, then you need to contact the help desk. I will not be able to help you with that. So here's the number for you guys if you do have any difficulty with that. Next, I wanted to just kind of go over what we will be using for this class. All of your lectures, all of your labs, everything that is associated in terms of content communication are going to be asynchronous. Basically, that means we will not be meeting on a specific time. We also will be using resources such as Canvas announcement, discussion board to post your answers, email communication, text to basically ask questions, convey any concerns you may have about the class. You may use most of these tools to do so. The synchronous part of the class, as I mentioned earlier, would be office hours that are held through Confer Zone. We also may have live chats depending on your class and the need for that tool to be exercised for your course. So please, please, guys, let's use the resources that we have. Let's use the tools that we have to find a regular and effective means of communication. And that way we can basically make sure that all of you guys will be successfully completing the course and moving on with the next semester, moving on to the next semester. Now, what are some of the policies that we will be following in terms of communication? So communication are two aspects of it, even though most of these rules do need to be followed for student-to-student contact or instructor-to-students, or vice versa, student-to-instructor. Please, please always follow what we identified as netiquette guidelines, and I have a link associated with that later on. I will show you that. Basically, netiquette is a set of guidelines that tells you what is the most effective way and respectful way of communicating with your classmates as you are participating in this course. As I mentioned, please do respect your peers and their opinion. Do keep in mind that you do have activities in the class, both lecture and lab, that might be carried as a group assignment, which means that you will be working with your peers to complete that assignment. So you always want to be respectful to what they say, listen to what they say, and have a discussion rather than an argument when it comes to resolving any disagreements. Do remember, guys, even looking around right now, we are a diverse population of students and individuals as a whole. So we do need to keep that in mind, that this is the diversity that makes us great. So we need to value other people's contribution, do not dismiss them, regardless of what we individually believe. So discussion rather than argument. And again, when it comes to your post, please use your own discretion. So if there are things that you deem inappropriate in terms of text, images, videos, please do not share them in the course. I do not tolerate any of such posting, and if it does come to my attention that such posts do exist, then you will be, I will have a discussion with you on that. And remember, when you guys are communicating through text or emails, that communication is very different from face-to-face. A lot of time we forget that that does not translate. When you type something, that doesn't translate to what we may have been feeling or trying to express. So always keep that in mind if you're reading your peers or my emails, that the goal is never to offend you or disrespect you. There's just sometimes miscommunication that will happen. So please be patient, be courteous, quick to forgive, and be tolerant of mistakes. Remember, we all are human. Some other policies, please make sure if you guys are doing group activities that you are responsible for contributing to that group, to make sure that the work is done in time, and work with your colleagues to make the best work that is possible. What if you do feel overwhelmed or unenthusiastic as you start the course, or as you are going through a few weeks of the course? Try not to stress too much about it. I know, again, all of us are dealing with a lot of stress at this point with what's going on around us. So remember, you are not alone. You can always contact me and explain your situation. I will do my best to work with you. Talk to your peers if something is unclear. If you do have questions or you're frustrated with concepts that are not clear to you, talk to your peers. Again, come to the office hours and I'll do my best to help you out. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if the guidelines that are given are not followed by your peers, please contact me so I can address the issue. Communication policies in terms of our instructor to students. So basically, if I want to communicate with you guys, we will be using either synchronous or asynchronous communications. I've listed them before, and here is again. I do post announcement again weekly, almost always. If you are not receiving full credit on an assignment, or even when you do have full credit on assignment, I do post comments and feedbacks on your assignments that are available. They're typically either as an audio or an actual text typed within your document that you've submitted. You may review those. And if you still have further questions about the comments that I have made, you are more than welcome to either email me or come to my office hours or set up an appointment to go over those concepts and the comments to make sure you guys are good to go when it comes to your exam time. Again, I'm gonna kind of reinforce this whole idea, guys. Regardless of who you're communicating, your peers or your instructor, please make sure you're following the netiquette guidelines. Here is the link. You may click on that and it will take you to a list of these netiquette guidelines. There are quite a few of them, but basically they all say, be respectful, forgive, don't post things that you may be inappropriate. When you are communicating with me, please, and also your peers, please make sure that you are checking for grammar and punctuation. I know a lot of you guys text a lot, you use a lot of shorthand, but they are not appropriate in a professional setting. So I would respectfully ask you guys, when you're emailing me, follow the guidelines for the email. That means please do not call me by quote unquote, hey. Please make sure you have a title for your email. Make sure to provide me with your name and a clearly written a statement or concern or question in the body of your email. If I do have a Canvas post or a discussion post, please make sure to read those directions first before you start answering the questions. I see a lot of times students answer questions which is completely unrelated to what I was asking. And again, when it comes to the asynchronous communication, which is typically email communication, please give me a 24-hour turnaround time. Except weekends and holidays, I usually try not to check my emails during that time, as those are dedicated to my family, and I do want to spend that time with my family. Now, some of the resources that are available to you, one is the Disabled Student Program and Services, or simply DSPS. So if you have test anxiety or any other issue that may require a specific accommodation, please contact the DSPS office. I have provided you with a link, email address, and a phone number. Please do make sure that all of your paperwork are submitted to me before the first exam, so I can make sure that you are accommodated for your needs. We also have great tutoring centers. I have provided you with some information. I am not sure if the physical location of the Success Center will be open. However, you do have access to their website, an email address, and a phone number that you may contact them and ask them questions specifically about your course. There are tutors for almost all the biology courses, so you are strongly recommended to use those resources. Lastly, I want to take a few minutes to talk about some of the academic honesty policy. Please do remember that even though this is, again, an online setting, you are still held to the same educational standards as you would have done in a face-to-face. So we want to make sure that every student avoid doing the 4 things, which is plagiarism, cheating, fabrications, the 3 things. And if those are basically take place as you're completing the course, there will be reprimand in terms of the approach for academic dishonesty. If you're not familiar with this terminology, plagiarism simply means that you're submitting somebody else's work as your own. That includes lab assignments that are basically copied and pasted from somebody else without giving the credit to that individual, including quotes or I guess quotes would be the best option. Quotes from an online resource or a Google search directly into your paper or your exam. Cheating includes somebody else taking your exam, you looking at your notes or information you're not supposed to have access to during your examination. Both of these are considered dishonest, and again, something that we want to avoid in our academic setting. Now, for my sake, and to make sure that everybody is following the recommended guidelines, we will be using Proctoria for our course assessment as of right now. I don't know if something is going to change later on or as we go through the semester, but as of right now, our goal is to be using Proctoria, and I will be providing you some guidance to make sure your computer is set for completing an examination through Proctoria. For that, you do require an ID. You will be recorded. and therefore you cannot use, and I'm going to repeat that, you cannot use your phones when completing the assessments. So you must have a computer, a laptop, and access to Google Chrome browser to make sure that you're successfully completing the Proctorio setup and have access to your exam. Your computer also must have a camera, as you will be recorded during the exam time. Last thing, again, fabrication. Fabrication is not necessarily anything that is specific to our class, but it's basically manufacturing false or inaccurate information. That could be true if you are responsible for writing a paper, and instead of writing facts, you are creating your own quote-unquote facts and introducing that into your paper. So please make sure you avoid fabrication, cheating, and plagiarism in all of your assignments and assessments. What happens if a student is caught under academic dishonesty? Based on our policy, the penalty for that would be a grade of F in your course, a grade of F in your assignment or assessment, report or presentation. And if that offense is repeated, that may result in a disciplinary action, including a fail grade for your course and expulsion from San Bernardino Community College. So, finishing on a positive note, probably not the best place to finish, but finishing on a positive note, I am truly happy and honored to have you guys, each and every one of you, as my students. My goal, again, as an instructor, is to make sure that you guys will succeed in a class. This class is not set up in a way that I want you guys to fail. I have put a lot of effort in setting up the course for easy access. And if something doesn't make sense, I strongly recommend for you to communicate that with me either through my email or coming to my office hours so we can resolve the issue. The chances are, if you do have an issue, the same issue exists for your classmates. So I would appreciate that communication. And thank you guys for being here, and hopefully we'll have a great semester together.